It's a story that first made headlines last October when Governor Kathy Hochul announced she was going to Israel after the October 7th attacks.
Records obtained by News 4 show Hochul spent thousands on the three-day trip to Israel, and you paid for it.
This situation hasn't been resolved.
Rabbi Brent Gutman is one of more than 1 million Jewish New Yorkers Governor Kathy Hochul says she represented during her solidarity mission to Israel in October.
It's deeply important for us to hear that there's a governor that cares and understands that all people deserve the right to live.
Back in October, the governor's office initially said the security detail for the trip would be the only cost to taxpayers. But according to state records, more than $12,000 was spent for a total of 5 state employees to make the trip. It included $9,500 for air travel, $1,300 in hotel expenses, $760 on meals, and $544 in miscellaneous expenses. That's also not including the security detail or a portion paid for by the governor's campaign coffers.
I don't think the governor learned anything at her trip.
Michael Crocker is the Erie County Republican Committee chair. He supports the trip, but questions what taxpayers are getting in return.
She's failed to, I think, lead this state through what is an anti-Semitic crisis. You've got a 90% hike in hate crimes, a lot of that directed at Jewish New Yorkers, particularly on our college campuses.
Governor Hochul declined our request for an interview. But in a statement, a spokesman said, quote, Governor Hochul has repeatedly condemned anti-Semitism and hate in all forms, and she'll continue working to ensure New Yorkers of all faiths are safe. Last September, Governor Hochul launched the nation's first comprehensive statewide plan to combat anti-Semitism, which was endorsed by the nonpartisan American Jewish Committee. It goes on to say, quote, the U.S.-Israel relationship is a cornerstone of American foreign policy and should not be diminished or undermined by partisan political attacks. Hochul isn't the first New York governor to travel to Israel. University at Buffalo political science professor Jacob Nyheisel says typically, though, state leaders make international trips to encourage business with New York. In Hochul's case, she called it a solidarity mission. He says foreign affairs are traditionally left to federal representatives.
Going back to the days of the early United States, where you would have individual states directly negotiating with foreign powers, that was a reason for the adoption of a stronger federal government.
Still, Rabbi Gutman says he supports her decision to travel abroad in her official role as governor.
It's well within her purview to make that decision. The decision to go and be present and stand with Israel is an important thing for Jewish community members to see.
And to see the expense report or to read Governor Hochul's full statement, head to our website, WIVB.com, and look for this story on the front page.